On 20th May 2020, a catastrophic cyclone hit the Indian states of West Bengal and Orissa. The storm also ripped through the neighboring country of Bangladesh. This storm affected more than 10 million people. It caused massive damage to standing crops. Thousands of trees were uprooted. Many people lost their homes as well. Power and water supply was interrupted in the capital city of West Bengal, that is Kolkata. Now, during this super cyclone, winds were blowing at a speed of 150 to 200 km per hour. People have fearful memories of howling winds blowing away the temporary shades of the houses. Now, Sundarban, the world's largest mangrove ecosystem, was mostly affected due to this cyclone. The region is yet to recover from this damage. The name of this cyclone is Amphan cyclone. Now, Amphan is an example of tropical cyclone. In this lesson, we will discuss in details about these winds. A cyclone is an area of low pressure where the air masses meet or converge and rise up. Now, cyclones are associated with heavy rainfall, and these rainfall or the force with which the winds blow cause immense damage to places over which they blow. Now, this is an eye of a cyclone. An eye of a cyclone is a region of low pressure. Here in this place, that is at the center of the cyclone, the weather is quite calm. Whereas in the surrounding areas, the weather is quite bad because heavy rainfalls occur there and the winds blow at high speed. Now, I just mentioned that cyclone is an area of low pressure where the air masses converge and rise up. So now we will understand the motion of winds in case of a cyclone with the help of a video. In case of a cyclone, the winds move in a spiral motion. I also mentioned that in case of cyclone, the air masses from the surrounding areas converge in the low pressure region and they rise up. Now, these winds eventually form clouds and cause torrential rainfall. In northern hemisphere, the winds blow in anti-clockwise direction, while in southern hemisphere, the winds of a cyclone move in clockwise direction. So till now, I discussed what is a cyclone and how the winds blow in case of a cyclone. Now, this cyclone can be further classified into two types. The first type is tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclones originate in the warm tropical seas. Particularly, these winds originate 8° north to 20° north of the equator and also 8° south and 20° south of the equator. So, these tropical cyclones originate in this zone, that is 8° to 20° north and south of the equator. Now, these tropical cyclones are mostly prevalent during late summer. The high temperature and high humidity of the air is responsible for the formation of tropical cyclones. Now, these tropical cyclones are associated with bad weather and they cause torrential rainfall. The heavy rainfall also causes floods in the coastal areas. If you remember, a while ago in the video, we saw the devastations caused by Amphan cyclone, which was a tropical cyclone. So from this we can infer that tropical cyclones are quite destructive. Now, tropical cyclones are known by different names in different parts of the world. Tropical cyclones are called simply cyclones in the Indian Ocean region. They are known as willy-willies in the northern part of Australia. They are known as typhoon in the China Sea region. They are also known as tornado and hurricane in USA and Caribbean Sea region respectively. The main characteristic of tropical cyclone is that they originate in the tropical region. They are characterized by heavy rainfall and thunderstorms. Also, these tropical cyclones are known by different names in different parts of the world. Now, before we proceed with our lesson, let us try to answer this question. Tropical cyclone is also known as dash in China. Is it tornado, hurricane, typhoon or willy-willies? Yes, the correct answer is typhoon. Tropical cyclone are also known as typhoon in China. Another type of cyclone is temperate cyclone. Temperate cyclones originate in the subpolar low pressure belt or in the temperate zone. Now, temperate cyclones originate due to the convergence of two types of planetary winds, that is westerlies and polar easterlies. If you remember, we have already read about westerlies and polar easterlies. So now you can pause the video and revise the topic on planetary winds using the iDictionary feature. So just a quick recapitulation. Polar easterlies come from the polar high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt in the northern and in the southern hemisphere. On the other hand, westerlies move from subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. The westerlies move from southwest direction in northern hemisphere. On the other hand, the westerlies move from northwest direction in southern hemisphere. Now in this map we can see that in the subpolar low pressure belts both these winds converge. Now the convergence of both these winds, that is westerlies and polar easterlies in the subpolar low pressure belts, gives rise to the formation of temperate cyclones. Actually, westerlies are comparatively warmer than polar easterlies. So the westerlies are warm and moist and polar easterlies are cold and dry. Now the westerlies, being warm and moist, rise up and ascend over the polar easterlies, and the convergence of these two winds leads to the formation of temperate cyclone. Unlike tropical cyclone, temperate cyclone are more prominent during the winter months. And temperate cyclones generally blow at lower speed and they are associated with little showers. Also, they are less destructive than tropical cyclone. So, we read about two types of cyclones, that is tropical cyclones and temperate cyclones. Now, we will proceed with our lesson and will learn about another type of wind. Another type of wind that we will now learn about is anticyclone. Anticyclone is an area of high pressure. This is an area where the air masses diverge or move apart and sinks. Now, unlike cyclones, anticyclones indicate fair weather and are associated with clear sky. See, this is the type of weather that we usually have when anticyclones are prevalent, and from here we can see that the weather is quite calm and clear. Now let's see how the winds move in case of an anticyclone. In case of an anticyclone, the winds move in a spiral motion and they descend or sink down. Now these winds diverge from this high pressure region towards the surrounding low pressure region. In case of an anticyclone in northern hemisphere, the winds rotate clockwise, and in southern hemisphere they rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So we discussed about two types of winds, that is anticyclone and cyclones. We will now distinguish between these two types. Anticyclone is a region of high pressure where the air masses diverge and sink. See, this part of the picture represents anticyclone, and we can see that the winds sinks and they diverge from this high pressure region. Conversely, the center of a cyclone is a low pressure region where the air masses meet or converge and they rise up. Now, this part of the picture represents cyclone. Here we can see that the winds are moving in to the low pressure region from the surrounding areas and they are eventually rising up. Another important distinction between anticyclone and cyclone is that in case of anticyclone, the winds blow clockwise in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere. Now, in a video just a while ago, we saw that the winds move in clockwise direction in northern hemisphere and in anti-clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. Conversely, in case of a cyclone, the winds blow in anti-clockwise direction in northern hemisphere and in clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. The winds in case of an anticyclones are associated with fine weather and clear sky. That is, these winds do not bring any significant disturbances in weather, while the winds of a cyclone bring bad weather and heavy rainfall. See, these are the winds of a cyclone, and we can see here the winds are causing torrential rainfall. So, these are the distinctions between anticyclone and cyclone. Anticyclone is a high pressure region, whereas cyclone is a low pressure region. Anticyclone move clockwise in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere, while cyclone blow anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. Anticyclones represent fine weather, whereas cyclones depict bad weather. See, this is a picture of a wheat crop. Now, wheat is a rabi crop or a winter crop. Wheat is mainly cultivated in the North Indian states of Punjab and Haryana. Now, what helps in the cultivation of this crop? Western disturbances coming from the Mediterranean region brings rainfall and helps in the cultivation of wheat crop. Now, what are western disturbances? Western disturbances are special type of wind. We will now learn about this type of wind. Western disturbances are example of jet streams. Now, jet streams are narrow bands of high velocity winds. These high velocity winds of jet streams mainly move in the upper layers of atmosphere. These winds are prevalent in the tropical region. Now, jet streams are mainly of two types, westerly jet stream and easterly jet streams. Westerly jet stream originate in the Mediterranean region and they move towards the Indian subcontinent. These winds are obstructed by the Himalayas and they bring rainfall in the northwestern part of India. If you remember, I just mentioned a while ago that the cultivation of wheat crop is possible due to rainfall which is brought by western disturbances. So, these western disturbances are nothing but the westerly jet stream, which originate in the Mediterranean region and eventually they move towards the Indian subcontinent. Now, another type of jet stream is easterly jet stream. Now, easterly jet stream are responsible for causing rainfall in most of the India. So till now I mentioned about cyclone, anticyclone and jet streams. We saw that these winds move at different velocities and they are prevalent over a small region. So these winds that change their speed and velocity frequently are known as variable winds. Variable winds blow for a very short duration and they change their speed and direction frequently depending on the pressure conditions of that region. So the cyclone, anticyclones and jet streams I just discussed about are different examples of variable winds. So this is the summary chart on different types of winds. We have already read about permanent winds, periodic winds and local winds. And in today's video, we discussed in details about variable winds. We discussed that variable winds are the winds that blow for short duration and they change their speed and velocity frequently. Now, these variable winds are mainly of three types: cyclones, anticyclone and jet streams. Now, cyclones can be further classified into two types: tropical cyclone and temperate cyclones. Permanent winds are also known as planetary winds. The three main classifications of permanent winds are trade winds, westerlies and polar easterlies. The second type of wind is periodic winds. Periodic winds can be further classified as land and sea breeze and monsoon winds. Local winds is another type of winds. Under local winds, we have three categories of winds, that is cold winds, hot winds and descending winds. And in today's video, we discussed in details about variable winds. So this is all about pressure wells and winds. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to our 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubt resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, but it's rewarding too. So register for free now.